Hi everybody, we're Team Hoarders 12560 from Craiova, Romania, and today we're here with...
Team 10084, Team Calamari.
Nice to meet you guys.
Meet you as well.
So, how's the season going for you guys? What did you say you have accomplished this season? Have you set any goals yet?
Yeah. This is our 10th year in FTC as a team, and it's been by far our most successful year. We're very thankful for being ranked 10th in the world right now. And one of the goals that we had was to get our auto consistency, to make it really consistent. And we've got it up to 91%, I think. So that's one of the 98?
Yeah,
98% in auto. So it's getting up there. And we also, throughout the season, we keep setting goals and we keep continuing to improve.
Yeah, top 98% auto is impressive, I'm not gonna lie. Well, it's also coincidentally our 10th year in FTC and the 10th year of FTC in our country, in Romania. So, congrats to you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, so now I have a question for you. How did your team first start out? Who had the initiative?
Oh, well, our team started 10 years ago, obviously, so none of our members here were on the team when it started. But back when we started, it was just a group of mainly homeschoolers that kind of got together and just wanted to build a robot and have fun. And their parents helped start a nonprofit, which got us the funding and allowed us to start a team. And we kind of developed from there.
Yeah, that's great to hear. It's about the same situation for us, to be honest. That was 10 years ago. So I'm not sure who founded our team, but I mean, yeah, that's a great story. Also, what are your impressions regarding your first year of activity? If you've heard any stories, any fun things about your first year?
Yeah, it was a while ago. So we don't really have any stories or anything iconic necessarily from our first year. I guess one kind of iconic thing was the name Calamari. Just came from a video game that all the teammates liked playing. They were all trying to come up with a name for the team, and they liked this Calamari character from a video game. So we pretty much got named after a little squid for the game.
Yeah, I guess that sounds interesting to hear. To be really honest, I don't even know where our team name comes from. But if it were that way, we'd all be named Team Minecraft. So, I guess.
How does your team divide responsibilities?
So our team, we have sub-teams. So what our sub-teams are, we split them up, our team, and our first sub-team is building, our second sub-team is programming, our third sub-team is marketing, and our fourth is strategy. So we can all work together to know what we need to do for the later season.
We have team members that are also the senior members of those sub-teams. So we have a senior builder, a senior programmer, etc. that helps keep the sub-teams focused and helps maintain communication between sub-teams so we can function as a team as well as functioning separately in a way.
Yeah, pretty good.
We're also divided into departments I'm on the marketing department and my colleague here is on the programming department. So we have the marketing, programming, assembly, and 3D printing, and that's how we divide our responsibilities.
Yeah, I personally really like the way you said you're structured, you're organized. We call these departments not sub-teams, but it's basically the same thing. And also I like the corporate feeling of it all, senior and then them coordinating everybody and so on. And also, what departments are you guys on? Or what
So I'm on the programming team, he's on the programming team. Builders, raise your hand. And marketers, raise your hand. And our strategy team is not here today, they couldn't make it. But yeah, we have some overlap with our teams. Some of the builders are on the marketing team as you saw, but that just because it just helps us work together better.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Like for us, departments are mostly like for organizational stuff and seniors to juniors. But yeah, like as my colleague said, I'm on software, on programming, but I also do like a big chunk of marketing work, as in non-technical. So yeah, that sounds interesting. I also wanted to ask, what's your recruitment process and what criteria do you select new recruits on?
So our recruitment process, we have many ways. So to have people know about us is we have a YouTube channel that the marketing makes videos and things on, and we also have, I think, an Instagram.
Yeah, we have Instagram,
We have
YouTube,
Instagram. I think we got
a few
rid
other
of.
social medias.
Did we get rid of Facebook?
But we
Okay. We still have Facebook, but if somebody wants to sign up on our team, we have a file registration form
like
that
an application
yeah.
form. Yeah.
So they can ask what they like to do and what they're good at.
Essentially, on the application form, we have them fill out some stuff, and it tells us what they're interested in, what their strengths, weaknesses are, if they have previous experience, and it helps us to figure out either, where they want to be, how to help nurture them and, train them so that they can do the best with their talents.
Yeah.
And,
More stuff that we do is like we hold an annual open house. So like last week we just hosted an open house and we got some people outside of First, introduced them to First, and we also send out various newsletters throughout our community. Like we said, we're a homeschool team, so it's kind of like a small world, see people around in the community.
Okay, so is this application form like open to anybody and like anytime, or is it just like some specific window? Because like ours is open from I think August 1st to August 15th, 16th maybe.
well, the way we do it is people who are interested get on our emailing list, and then we send out the applications after our season ends. So that's how it works.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a nice approach that gets the job done. Like ours, as I said, we're a school-based team, so the only people that can apply are from our school, which, to be honest, yeah, it does kind of limit our students, but it also helps us because our labs, our HQ or whatever you want to call it, is inside the school itself, and it's useful because immediately after hours, after you finish school, it's at most 5 minutes and you're into the lab. And
That's very helpful.
Yeah, well, another question. How do you guys handle setbacks?
So we've got a few ways that we handle our setbacks. One of the ways is we rehearse anticipated problems. So we have a pit checklist that we do. So if things were to break on our robot, we can preemptively fix those like that. We also stick to our engineering process. So if something does come up, like a mechanism or an implementation of code doesn't work as you're expecting, we look back at the engineering process, which you can kind of see on the back wall there. We'll identify the problem of the setback, and then we'll run through the whole engineering process using that to further move forward. And then we also like to think outside the box. So we do pull inspiration from other teams, from YouTube and things like that. But we also like to come up with some of our own little adaptations, whether it's using special printed materials or taking a new look at programming, like how we have custom libraries this year. So thinking outside the box and sticking to our engineering process are two of the main ways to handle setbacks.
yeah, that sounds like an interesting approach. We should also take a look and consider implementing this with the engineering and the way we think mechanisms. And also, what if that setback we were asking about was unexpected? Maybe you're in a competition in a league meet or something, and during a match, some robot slams into you I don't know, 5 miles an hour, just slams into you, breaks something. What would you do? If also time's of the essence.
We actually had almost that exact scenario at one of our competitions. It was actually our teammate their entire turret like fell off of their robot during the finals matches, and that was like a rush. So what we did was we went back to the pits and we looked at it and we realized it was the 3D printed bracket. So for instance, we already knew that 3D printing, you could melt it back together. So what we actually did is we plugged in a soldering iron and we just kind of started melting the seam back together on the turret. And then we also used some CA glue and some tape to really like pull it down on the turret mount. And then we went on for that match and we proceeded to set the state high score in the next match. So it's kind of just like using, I mean, what we already know, like the properties of like what we already know, like how the printed filament will melt if you do it with soldering iron or something like that. And then also just like kind of acting off instinct to like, oh yeah, some tape should probably go here. So toss and stuff like that in the mix too.
Yeah, that's great here, but I mean, if it works, it works. Like, and also, what can tape fix? Like, come on. Okay, here's another question. If you could go back in time with the knowledge that you have like now after 10 years of experience and change a decision that you made when you first started out or when you were in your first years of like competing, what would that be? What would you change?
One of the things that we did when we started out as a team was we wrote all of our libraries and we proceeded to use those libraries for close to 7 years. And something I think we should have looked into is probably either updating the libraries every year or just continuing to iterate on the code so that we didn't end up with outdated libraries later on. That was a big issue we had a few years ago. We had to fully rewrite all of our libraries during the off season, which was a lot of work. Yeah, I'd say that was probably one of the main things.
But also, this is just out of personal curiosity. Like, what kind of libraries are you talking about?
We've written navigation library. What else did we write?
Other from the navigation library, we also have some utility method classes for like distance and angles.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work. Like, I also hate rewriting libraries.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody.
Yeah. It's just
So how do you guys handle high pressure moments in a competition? Because that's really tough for us. We just run everywhere around and we get really distracted and so.
Something that we do is we have a good driver, an excellent driver coach, and we always listen to him, and we trust our knowledge of our robot and knowledge of the game and stuff because we make sure we know a lot about that, and we also stay calm. We just we focus on keeping our cool until the end of the match, and then we lose it. But it's as long as we're calm during the match. That's what matters.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess, I mean, if you guys can pull off, like, your whole shooter breaking off and then sealing it and going to get a state, like, best, like, I don't know, like, state record, yeah, you can definitely pull this off. How do you guys decide what goes into the engineering notebook?
Yeah, so one of the things we do is, like, of course, every award has, like, a criteria, right? So we look at the criteria, we observe it, and we find, like, what have we done that meets that criteria? What do we need to do to meet that criteria? And we base a lot off of that. And we also try to, like, throughout the season, consistently update it with what we're doing, what we have done, and just keep it up to date.
But do you guys do this, like, I mean, before having the actual events, or like, say it's something like outreach related? Do you plan like outreach events based on the criteria itself, or do you do the events themselves and then decide whether they're worth it or not to include in the engineering?
We usually like get the events before, like for an example, like I said, we have like an annual open house that we do many other things just regularly throughout our seasons.
Yeah, I guess that's a good approach. Like that's definitely the way to be sure. Yeah.
How do you prepare younger members for interviews and so?
So to make our first year and up, what's it called, teammates to get better, we on the off season.
That's true. How to prepare for like speaking and stuff. I'd say a lot of it's just practice. You asked about like speaking and stuff for judging, right? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, and for the
Yeah.
judges.
So we do a lot of practice. We also make sure that they know the stuff about the bot and they're not just like repeating a script, because if you really know your stuff, that helps a lot. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole ton that goes into that necessarily. As long as they know about the robot and they know what they need to say and how to say it, I'd say that's about all that needs to go into it.
Yeah, recently we set some plans because during the time in between our last competition and our state competition, we've got about like a month and a half, I think, in between that. So there's not a lot of opportunity to get better at judging at competition. So our plan is to practice at basically every single meeting we have. Practice judging, go through it, just kind of drill it and make sure that everyone knows exactly what they're supposed to say, also know exactly how to respond to a variety of questions.
How'd you get like ideas for building your robot? Where did you get your inspiration from?
So our first inspiration comes from just after the reveal video, we set up a demand, prefer, and wish framework. So what that is under our demand section, we put in things that we know we'll absolutely need for our first competition. So that's obviously like drivetrain, intake, launcher, things like that. And then our prefer section would be things that would be like really nice to have later down the road. So that would be like consistent shooting from far zone, multiple different autos, things like that. And then our wish section would be things that are like really far down the road, we might not ever get to, but just something to like keep in the back of our mind. So that would be like sorting or maybe like shooting while moving. So we use those three categories to determine what we want to work on at that time. So that's how we get like our internal kind of brainstorming and inspiration. And then in terms of external, we draw some inspiration from the international Discord. So we check on what teams are doing, what updates they're making, see if there's things we'd like to take inspiration from, or see things that aren't quite functioning correctly. So we can know to like stay away from that type of thing and things like that. And then also looking at other teams' YouTube channels, like how we post our YouTube videos for informational content. We look at other teams for their informational content like that. So those are the three ways: the internal brainstorming, Discord, and then YouTube.
Yeah, I guess to be honest, YouTube and the unofficial Discord server are like a really good source. And also we should like take down notes for that idea of must have versus nice to have for like those features and stuff. I like the approach.
Yeah.
And
Can you tell us one thing that every FTC team should stop doing?
Yeah, I'd say one of the things would be, especially when it comes to this year, there's a lot more leniency when it comes to contact between other robots. You got to stop leaving your systems unprotected and undefended. I think there needs to be a higher level across the board from most teams of just focus on durability of their bot. I mean, obviously, like we had our own anecdote of our teammates' turret falling off. I mean, that was kind of a freak thing. I mean, that was kind of hard to predict for, but still should be something that should go to show that you really need to make sure that everything's robust, I suppose. I mean, especially I see some teams that have like wheels just completely unprotected. They're not encased by anything, and the wheels just sticking out in the middle. And wiring, that's another big thing, is make sure that your wire management is good, because if your wires get caught on stuff, you could end up in a very bad spot pretty fast. So
yeah, there was a team in our state that was in a match and their battery fell completely out of their bot, and it was getting tossed all around the field, and it was a sight.
yeah. Not only does that compromise your ability to play, but also gets a lot of penalties too. So.
yeah, bless you. Yeah, those are fair points. Like all teams, like whoever is seeing this should be taking notes. and yeah, that like keeping stuff protected part is also very important. Like I can remember from my last. I mean, I can remember it was yesterday, literally, but in a but in that league meet, like a robot rammed into us full speed and broke our intake system, which is based on like rubbers, like stretched out rubbers. Broke into it, broke a 3D printed piece at one end, and we had to take down the whole intake to remake it. And I guess yeah, protection is a pretty important part. Also, because we were speaking of the robot, what's going on with those two robots on the desk, like in the middle? Is it like old robot, new one, or something like that?
So something we try to implement this season is parallel design. So what that is building two of the same robot, and then being able to edit things on one while one is being used for other uses, for like practice or programming. So this is our first. Well, it's not our first. Our first scrimmage robot was named Boris. It was a super simple scrimmage bot. Nothing insane. It had pretty bad intake. It was just kind of thrown together. And then based off what we learned from that, we built this. This is Gen 2. Its name tag is a little bit covered up right now. But we use this for most of our qualifiers. And then we also, while we were building this, we're building Gen Dos, which also has a name tag. This is, while we were trying random things on this robot, we could be programming with this. So like, for instance, we're running autos right now with this, but we did some intake changes and things to this robot to try to be able to pick up off the gate more consistently. But that didn't affect like that much of the programming time and things like that. And it also gives us a fresh bot to run at states with, because this has been through about 40 matches now, and this hasn't ever been to a competition. So being able to transfer from this to that and having that very nice and new for states will help with just consistency and it not becoming broken or things like that.
What would you say is your favorite thing about your robot? I mean, whichever one of them.
So I would say that would have to be launching consistency, which, as we said earlier, we actually managed to score 98% of our artifacts launch at our, in auto.
Hear that hardware?
At our,
Take notes.
at our last qualifier. But also in teleop from the close zone, we managed to score 91% of our artifacts launch.
Yeah, I mean, like,
So,
those are impressive stats. Like, at least impressive stats. Like,
Thank you. In terms of like specifics with the hardware, one of my favorite parts is probably the launcher, just because of how many different things we've done to improve consistency. So we've got dual flywheels for more. Oh yeah, I should use the one that's up in the front. We've got dual flywheels that are kind of hidden behind the limelight here, but that helps to give the launcher wheel more inertia. We've also got guide rails in the back here, so as artifacts are exiting, they can't be set off to one side or the other. Those guide rails help to keep it linear in the center of the launcher. And then we've also got a hood for adjusting the trajectory based off for in closed zone or far zone. So if we're in far zone, we'll put the hood up, closed zone, we'll put the hood down. And then also like our backspin roller up here that helps mitigate backspin. So there's just been like so many things added onto the launcher up here to improve consistency.
Another thing that we absolutely love about our bot is our little tipper. But we do have a tipper that has us only take up half of the square during parking. So let's say another team did the same thing, we could get a double base bar, which would be amazing.
yeah, I mean, I love that tipper design idea. Like, we're still thinking on like what to do and how to implement for the double park system, because like all the teams in our region, in Romania mostly, like they've all got different systems. You've got tippers, you've got some that push up, some don't have anything, and it's kind of hard to coordinate. But that's an idea to take note of.
Okay, well, now moving on from the robot, do you think first plays a key role for the development of a teenager?
So yeah, I think a couple of ways it does that is it helps build teamwork with your friends, helps with your public speaking, talking to judges and different people at competition, as well as just work ethic, and just how you come back continuously to repeat and build on the things that you have already done and improved on, just keep improving your past designs. And I think that's something that not only applies at first, but also just a lot of other things in life. First really helps build those qualities and so on.
Yes.
It's a pretty steep learning curve, but at least in my opinion, it's worth it. You learn so much, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you make a lot of friends, not only from the team. I also met a lot of new people this year.
Yeah.
I can definitely agree there. And what did you say is your favorite memory from your like whole activity, or at least the activity that you've been a part of?
I don't know if anyone else here was on the team at the time, but I think it was the first time that I actually went to States, I think. We had a robot that was nowhere near this good compared to all of the other robots, but we managed to get the 11th place in the state because it was the one year that the game was like super strategic, and I think we were the only team that had really thought about strategy a whole lot.
Yeah, that was Power Play, so that was 4 years ago. Yeah, that was definitely a fun year. For those of us that were on the team, I think we really enjoyed it.
Well, that was mostly it with the questions. Do you guys want to maybe take a photo for like socials and stuff?
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
All right, thank you so much for meeting with us.
Good luck on your next competition, guys, and hope you have a great rest of your
Also,
season.
good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.